I'm used to, if it's a sport, I'm used to winning. I'm used to being on top with it. And so it's like, oh, this is my marriage. I want to win. And I watched my mom. It's so crazy how warped you can get. Again, why you have to be by yourself and really work on you.
Yes.
My mom and dad stayed married till death do you part, right?
Yeah.
And in biblical terms, that's winning, right? She stayed all of the nonsense. My mom was so unhappy and bitter and hurt, and she died that way. So I
Yes.
asked myself, like, wow, did she really win? And so for me, for a long time, I was like, I've got to stay because this is what you're supposed to do. The marriage has vows that you take, the goodness, sickness and health, good and bad. This is just the bad time. I need to kind of hang in here through his sickness and ride it out. But then you have to really ask yourself, to what cost?
Yeah.
Like, to what cost? How much of yourself are you supposed to lose before you say it's enough?
Yeah, you better. Cause you want this, I want this. Everybody in this world should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Yeah, you better. Check the time to recognize it. You won't leave me even if I tried it. You're the artist, I'm the mess, and happily be found the new in your hands.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unlimited with Elisabeth Carson. Today, I'm so excited. I'm super freaking excited, man, because we used to have a podcast together. And I just love you so much. And I'm so glad that you agreed to come on my show and talk about this important subject that we'll get into in a second. But absolutely. Maria, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a joy for us to be back on together to have this conversation and talk to everyone about it today. We definitely always have good vibes. And so I am happy to be on.
Yes. And you know what? I was talking about you last night when I was live, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to interview my sister-in-law. Well, my ex-sister-in-law. That's always going to be my sister-in-law. I was like, and everybody's like, oh my God, I love Maria so much. So yeah, I mean, we had an awesome podcast, man. It was super informative. I was looking at some clips from it. It was good.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. We had a good run with it. Yes, definitely.
Yes. Well, today, guys, we're diving into the fact that, well, you know what? We were out to lunch the other day and we were kind of talking about this, how people dive into relationships before they even know who they are, before they're independent in their emotions, in their finances, in their everything. They're just, they like this. And then when that happens, it's like, you lose yourself if you don't have boundaries about yourself. So.
Absolutely. I really think that we are truly the crux of the issue when it comes to relationships, even ones that we perceive are going pretty good. Yeah. They could probably be better, right? So when we first start life, everything's new to us, being on our own, right? All of this is all new. We have not really quite figured out who we even are as an individual, and this is for men and women. It's not just a female thing. It's both parties. You don't even know who you are. And I think because we were so used to being so dependent on our parents that we don't stay alone very long because we're so afraid to really be alone.
Yes.
Right? So we got to look for that partner and then try to grow with that partner, except for when you are 20, you are not going to be the same person at 25, then at 30, etc. Right? We're always constantly evolving, but you haven't even gotten the base foundation down yet. Right? You don't have any money, really. Some people do. Most people do not have any money. You don't know what your own boundaries are. Like, what are your true, nope, I'm not going to compromise on this. This is my true belief on this thing, and I don't want to compromise it. Not saying that you can't evolve and change later, but you don't have anything set in place. And then here comes this person that you think is just going to be amazing and honky-dory, and you're going to fall in love, and then you connect with them. You might not even be in love with them, but now you're depending on each other because of finances. It's easier to pay bills. You might not really like them, but you're not alone, so that's okay too. This person has a different spiritual path than you. You guys haven't worked any of this out, and it just becomes calamity by the time it's all said and done.
Yes. Well, you know what it is though, too, that I think like it's just the times are different than they used to be. So back in the day, maybe like 40, 50 years ago, it was easier, better for people to connect and grow together. And then it was, kind of the expectation you just stay together. I mean, divorce rates have gone up significantly in the past 20, 30, 40 years, especially the past 10 years.
10 years.
And I think it's because the consciousness is changing. We have social media. Cheating is one tap away at this point. There's so many options. So it's like now, especially these days, like people can't just jump into something anymore like they used to back in the day because our brains aren't ready for all of this.
Right. It's because and that's true too. Also, as soon as you find that one thing that you don't like about your partner, it's easy to just say, let me see and try someone new and see if I like it over here. Right. But if you really knew who you were as a person and learn how to say, okay, well, I know I can compromise on this, that, and the other, you would stay longer. But now you're right. It's just so much, it's hyper stimulation. You can just say, this one's not working. Let me get in this one's DMs and then that one's DMs. And you just kind of keep the train going. And we are really creating our own stew of bad emotions. Super, super duper hurt feelings.
Toxic bonds. Toxicity everywhere. And it's, oh my God, it makes me sick. It's like, there's no commitment anymore these days,
Oh, there's no commitment because we're not committed to ourselves. Right? You can't commit to anyone else if you can't commit to yourself. Most of us don't love ourselves. We can't get ourselves into, good shape and be healthy. Like our own basic necessities, most of us can't commit to just taking care of your own temple from emotional, spiritual, and physical. There's no way for you to do that for others. And then for women, we double whammy it. We get into these relationships and we have children. And then that requires all of ourselves, right? Because unfortunately, some moms, but mostly some guys can walk away, right? So now, not only did you not take care of yourself, now you have another human being you have to take care of. And I can remember looking at my oldest and being like, I have no idea what I am doing with a kid. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing for me. Like, oh my gosh, I hope she does not die because I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like, if I did not I put myself in that situation.
Yes. Right? Well, we always put ourselves in this situation because one thing that God gave us is free will. So there's always a freaking choice. There's always a choice. I mean, I was feeling trapped into certain things and I look back now and I'm like, no, it was just a choice away to not be trapped in certain things. See, we don't know ourselves. We have no boundaries. And then we enter into these relationships and we become, if we have no boundaries, especially women, because we're the nurturers, we want things to work so much. It's like women have the emotional like bond in us more so than a man does. But I mean, it happens with men too. But we become the other person.
Yes, absolutely. Because we're trying to glue it all together. We're trying to be the glue. So now we're stretched super, super duper thin. And then we get even further removed from our core self, only to find that we might be able to return to that, having to find yourself again stage later in life, like I am now, when your children are grown. And, for some of us, you're divorced or you're still with your significant other, but because your children are gone, you're looking at each other like, we are strangers. I don't even know who you are, and you don't even know who I am. And so like this rediscovery process has to start all over again. And this is why divorce happens in the late 40s and 50 age group stage, because you don't even know that freaking person, nor do you like that person.
I know. And because of social media, like I said before, it's so easy just to think and pick a new one. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's just a click away. There is no loyalty anymore. And you know what? It's like we ignore our intuition because we don't know ourselves.
Absolutely.
We're so bogged down and disconnected from our bodies because of trauma and stress throughout our life that we don't even listen to our intuition. And then when it hits us, it's like, but I love him so much.
Yes, we try to make an excuse for it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we will glaze over it. But I try to do, me, I like to do a lot of self-work. And when I first was separated and going through my divorce, now it's crazy. It's 3 years ago. It's crazy how time flies, right? I'm
Same.
like, wow, that I mean, it's sometimes I'm like, wow, it seemed like last week, but it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I really try to take myself back to the very beginning of the dating when I was with my spouse and say to
Mhm.
myself, were there flags?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were there, right? Like, were there flags? And I really kind of just took some time and I really thought about it. And I took myself all the way back through all the good, cozy moments. The drinking was happening then. The overindulgence of drinking was happening then. The pain pills hadn't entered the scene, but the overindulgence of alcohol to the point where I was like, wow, he finished a whole bottle of rum, a whole thing of Hennessy, like the whole thing. And I was kicking.
Why? Why?
Because we were in the honeymoon phase where there was nothing bad happening, right? And there was,
Yeah.
and because admittedly on his behalf, he needed alcohol to make himself loosen up and be a little bit more, liquid courage, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so it made everything seem he was far more passionate and far more lovey-dovey, and there was never any type of anger or fighting or any of that. So it just seemed fine. Whereas I come from a household where there was a lot of drinking, and I know that it was not that. It was not lovey-dovey. It was arguing and fighting. And so I wasn't seeing that negative side. So I was like, oh, this is actually not, this is okay. You know,
Mm.
and people can drink and be fine, right? Like,
Bottles.
so,
Whole entire bottles.
not bottles
One
though.
flag.
Right. So I, again, because I just didn't know myself and really deal with me as an individual and setting myself up first, I took what was a glaring red flag. It was, girl, it had wrapped around my forehead. And I just took it off and was like, I'll just make this into a bandana. It looks great. It's just a bandana.
Well, you know what? That story is pretty much all of our stories.
Right.
It's all of our stories. I mean, we always see things and
Yes.
glaze over things because we care and because we don't have boundaries, and we also want to believe in the love story,
Yes. But we also want to be wanted. We don't want to have to say, maybe in this season of life, I need to be alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Right. That's really the crux of the issue. We really, at the end of the day, just don't want to be alone.
Mhm.
And I get it. But now that I've gone through all this life, I'm like, wow, it was so not worth it. I lost a lot of years that were the best part of my years, where I could have been doing so many other things that had so much more profound impact on the planet with other humans, besides being selfish and wanting to have whatever lovey-dovey emotions that I thought I was going to get, that ended up me not really getting them. I did more fighting than being in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So what made you stay for so long?
Well, children, number one, right?
Yeah.
So children are a really strong hook. And then not wanting to be a failure, right? Like no one wants to fail. I'm super competitive, in everything that I do. And for me, I'm used to, if it's a sport, I'm used to winning. I'm used to being on top with it. And so it's like, oh, this is my marriage. I want to win. And I watched my mom. It's so crazy how warped you can get. Again, why you have to be by yourself and really work on you.
Yes.
My mom and dad stayed married till death do you part, right?
Yeah.
And in biblical terms, that's winning, right? She stayed through all of the nonsense. My mom was so unhappy and bitter and hurt, and she died that way. So I asked myself, like, wow, did she really win? And so for me, for a long time, I was like, I've got to stay because this is what you're supposed to do. The marriage has vows that you take, the goodness, sickness and health, good and bad. This is just the bad time. I need to kind of hang in here, through his sickness and ride it out. But then you have to really ask yourself, to what cost?
Yeah.
Right? Like, to what cost? How much of yourself are you supposed to lose before you say it's enough?
Mm-hmm.
Or was I just supposed to go ahead and take the bandana off and be like, nah, brother, man, this bandana is too red for me. I can't do it. I'm not the woman for you.
Yeah.
That's what should have taken place. But I
Yeah.
didn't have the strength in the beginning because I didn't build myself up so that I can empower myself for my future.
Right.
So that's the role that I play in the decline of my future years from that marriage point up until now. I played that role. I'm not going to sit here and say it was all my ex-husband, because yeah, the problem was the problem. But had I listened to my intuition from the jump, when I was like, that was a full bottle.
Yes.
A bit much.
Yeah.
But he laid it down though, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just being real, right? So I made a wrong decision off the wrong set of things that took away many years of my life. And feelings and words and time I can't get back.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, we really don't know who we are, and it's like, because so many of us have had traumatic childhoods and gone through traumatic teenage years. And so it's like, we get so far away from our core, we build these walls and then walls, and we're like a little onion, like a big freaking onion. And we're so far away from the core of who we're supposed to be and who we really are and our intuition, because when we get violated in our bodies, we leave our bodies, we dissociate. So therefore we have no connection to our intuition anymore. So when those hits come, like, hey, red flag, we're just like, oh, what? Huh?
Yeah, I said, what happened? Something flew by my face.
Exactly, because we're not at our core. We have so many walls. We're disconnected from ourselves. So it's like, we really have to take the time to peel all these walls back, to peel these layers back, and know ourselves and love ourselves. Because it makes you not love yourself, like it makes you not worthy, you don't feel worthy. And how can you enter into a relationship when you don't feel worthy? You'll just get spat around and mopped up, That
person will recognize it and use it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah
100%. And so I think, from the emotional perspective, we need to do a better job of that. And then there is the financial side. We are going, and this I feel like is really mostly the women. And I'm gonna call it what it is. A lot of us out here are looking for men to give us the shoes in the bag. Really, really are. This is what society nowadays is really all about. The first thing we're trying to scope out is his shoes, his cars, his trips. We will go through the whole Instagram and looking to see what he's doing, how he moves, and we are making decisions off of who we pick based on that.
Yeah, and then all of that is just a freaking story. It's not even real.
It's not even real. So for some people, it's legitimately not legit. Right? And so we make these decisions based off this. And let me say this to the ladies and the guys. If you're picking mates based off of that, I'm not here to judge you or say that's not good or bad. I'm not going to judge it, right? It's not my place. I will say this though. For every woman or man that gets into a relationship, knowing they'll have to rely on someone else to furnish their lifestyle, that person, suppose they just drop dead. There's the whole lifestyle. And a lot of people are not even married. They're just in relationships. So it's not like you're entitled to any of whatever that person had anyway. And you've not educated yourself. You've not set yourself up properly. And I have watched plenty of women go from mansions to raggedy apartments with broke down cars or no car at all because they were relying on someone else's life and lifestyle.
Yes.
Chart your own path. Make your way, be your own individual self so that person too respect, he or she can take care of you if they want. But they also know that you can maintain and take care of yourself and walk on your own 2 feet if they have to. They will respect you so much more.
Yes. Well, here's another thing. Let me tell you, A quick story. So there was a billionaire, right? A billionaire that got a little young, the young girl. Like I think she was like 20 years old. Picked her up, and made her his wife and his personal assistant and all this stuff, right? So she got an allowance, she had all these different things. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, 5 years later, she gets breast cancer and has to get her breasts removed. And then he doesn't find her attractive anymore. So he throws her out. Now she got nothing, zero.
That's crazy. And so what that shows is that it was all surface level.
Yes.
There was never any love, and she was just a trophy, just to hold her down,
Exactly.
And there's far too many women and some men who are living their life just like this, not really even realizing it, to be honest.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not judging people for who they are, but the women and the men, but mostly the women that are just looking if they can get a bag, if they can get a trip, if they can get a nice car. If that's all that they care about, you're really ruining the connection of like, it's ruining the connection because now these guys, that's all they want. It's just a young girl that, it's just so twisted. It's so twisted.
And
it's just
because
not real anymore.
Not real anymore. It's because it's happened in society so much. This is now the way that it's going. Like when I meet men, well, first of all, if they're older than me, they definitely kind of want someone younger. They're a little intimidated that I have my own life and my own things, right?
Yeah, because they just want a yes person to just sit down, shut up, and do what they say.
Right. And so this is how I know that, okay, that wasn't going to be anything real anyway, because they want to date someone that they can control and manipulate. But then there's the younger guys who come, towards me and want to talk to me, and they just want to be taken care of too. So this is like the new societal thing. Everyone's just looking for how they can how can I do the least amount of work possible so I can live the best life.
You know what this is the toxic dynamic. This is it. Yeah. So women are enabling the men because women are mothering their significant others.
Yes.
And they're enabling the behavior, the toxic behavior that in turn, so women then get resentful and then their attitudes, and then they get sick because we withhold stuff and we're so emotional, but we don't want to be nitpicky. And so we're just harnessing this resent right within us. So then we get sick. But then it's like, we're enabling this behavior. 100%. We enable the toxicity. We enable the narcissism because we don't pick up the red flag.
Red flags. It goes back to the beginning. It really does. It legitimately goes back to the beginning of, first of all, deeper level parenting. Not really, we don't parent in the vein of saying, hey, look, we're human beings with emotions and feelings. And before you go attaching yourself to another human being's emotions and feelings, you better understand yours first.
Yes.
Like what you want to do, how you want to feel, how you want to be treated. You need to understand that first, because, I listen to some people, like when I go on a date or whatever, and I ask them what they're looking for. And I'm finding that most men that are older than me can't even articulate what they're looking for. And I'm like, you've been on this earth a little too long to not be able to. Don't tell me like stuff like sweet moments in the night. What does that fucking mean, bro? You trying to get some ass? We know that already. That is a given. We already know that men are hunters. I got it. But on a deeper level, what are you, like they can't answer those questions.
Because they don't even know themselves.
Right. And it goes also for most women. This is not just a male issue. This is
none of us know ourselves. None of us. You know what? It's not our fault, but it's our responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't taught how to process trauma. We weren't taught how to get this stuff stressed out of our bodies. We weren't taught how to create boundaries and to pour love into ourselves, and that we have this magic power to create whatever we can create on the planet. Like we get so far away from that because of unprocessed emotion and old memory and all that bull crap. We get far away from it, but it is our responsibility to start peeling the layers back and get to know ourselves again, so we can pour magic into ourselves, so we can express our creative divine power on the planet, which is really what we're all supposed to do. We're not supposed to be out here sheep. We're not supposed to be out here caregivers for everybody else.
Right.
We're supposed to pour that into us so we can
Right.
express and
So it will
and
naturally express onto
world.
others. Absolutely.
Yes, from an overflowing cup instead of an empty cup. Then you're
Right.
just, pouring from your stress cup, and it's not even doing anything but creating more stress and stress energy in the world.
Yeah. You ever help somebody and you're like, man, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah, girl.
I didn't have the energy or the time or the money for that, but I did it anyway. Yeah. Now you over there stressed when you actually did a good thing, but you're still stressed about it because you poured from an empty cup.
No, you get burnt out.
Yes,
you get
absolutely.
freaking burnt out. That is the first sign is rolling out of bed and being like,
Yes.
here we go again.
Yeah.
You're
If you
burnt.
are dreading your day and you feel like you're on a constant
You're
hamster
burnt.
wheel, you're burnt out. And I would really advise for anyone feeling like that to really take some steps back and start saying, I need to recapture myself. Start with asking yourself some baseline questions. What do I want? Why do I think I'm here? What do I like? Yeah, what do I like? Do I just want to be left alone? Like for me, I realize that a relationship sounds really nice. It really does. Until I get in my bed and I sleep at a diagonal. And then I'm like, no, it's not so nice. Or I am a very traditional woman, right? Like I am that woman. My ex-husband did not have to cook or make anything, no cleaning, no nothing, laundry. He did none of it because I am a traditional, right, type of woman. And so I just like, and that's also my love language. It's not because I was also raised that way, but it's truly, I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
But now to not have to get up and wake up 2 hours extra early just so I can drink coffee with that person and make them breakfast so I can see them off through the door. I'm good. I don't want to have to put my panties in your lunchbox. I would like my panties in my drawer because really I was like, damn, I wanted to wear those thongs today. I messed up. I don't have to do it anymore. I feel and being able to own and say that is very empowering to me. Because if this was maybe 5 years ago, I would be like, I gotta find a guy and I gotta go on a date and I need to have a boyfriend and I need to, get back to being married. I would have been that way.
Yes, because that right there is a perfect freaking sign that you don't like yourself.
Right.
Because you don't want to be with yourself.
Exactly.
So you just want to distract yourself from yourself with external stimulus or a person.
A person, right. And then you fixate on their imperfections.
Yes. And then you become them.
Right. 100%.
Because you don't even know you. You got no boundaries.
Exactly.
And then you end up and you look down, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years later, when the person decides to discard you if they do so, then you're like, who am I? What do I have? You're literally, it's a shock. Like I'm reading this book right now. It's called The Covert Narcissist. And it's talking about all these different stories of men and women that have just been in these toxic relationships that they didn't even realize were toxic, and then discarded. And then they just end up, they're all alone, they're older, and they don't even know who they are anymore.
And I'm here to tell you, for everyone listening, for me, thankfully, sports has always been my path, right? And I've never, I told my ex, look, this is what I do. This is how I'm doing it. It's always going to be a part of my life. So I thankfully had a lane to drive down in, but there is no worse feeling than using up your whole life, mothering and wifing, only to find out in the end you have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It is the worst feeling in the world. And then you look in the mirror and you don't have an identity either. Because you have to remember, your name has been Mom. My name has been Mom for 32 years up until that point, right? And then, or whatever cutesy name your spouse calls you. And then now all of it comes to a crashing halt and your name is now back to where your birth name. I'm now Maria, right? And I'm like, well, who is she now? Like when I left Maria last, she had good boobs and supple skin. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, I left that. I don't even remember the stuff, the good boobs. Like, they was good till I think they was rocking out there. And this is for most women and some men. Like, you look in the mirror and you're like a stranger to yourself.
Well, yes, and that's what I've been talking about this so much recently, Maria. It's like, because especially, the nurturers in the family, whether it's the woman or the man, but the nurturer of the family is always pouring into the kids, pouring into the spouse, pouring into everything else, and they don't ever pour into themselves because of a fake story they're telling in their heads. Oh, if I don't do this, then the family's gonna fall apart. If I don't do this, then the kids gonna do. It's a story. It's just a story.
Yeah, they don't even. Everyone else doesn't even care.
No, they don't.
They don't even care. I realized they didn't care when I would come home sometime from the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, kids. I spent 2 hours at the gym. And they were like, and I'm like,
the story, because you were telling yourself a story in your head that if you didn't do this, that, and the other, then everything would crash and burn. And it's 90% of the time, 99% of the time is fake, because guess what? Those people that are the caregivers end up sick. And then does the family blow up? It doesn't blow up.
No, everyone keeps on moving quite fine without you, as a matter of fact.
Exactly.
While you are at home in your bed shaking like, oh, Lord.
My point is like, we have to take the time, the caregivers of the family, for themselves. Even if it's just sitting down for a meal and enjoying the meal without your phone, without the distractions, by yourself, just enjoying a conscious meal, eating slowly, sitting down
and just absorbing life. And I think, for any of you that on here that are parents and your children are young, take this opportunity now to really start empowering them to learn themselves.
Yes.
Right? Like, as they're aging, not making them so independent, but just like talk to them and ask them, what do you really like? Like, I know a lot of parents who put their children in these crazy busy schedules of sports and piano and dance and this and that because you don't want to parent is really why you're doing it. Let's just be honest. We want to get them children out of here. Bye.
Girl, I was in every sport, piano lessons. I didn't
over the place. Right.
I had no time just to sit down.
No time to sit. And that takes away from your child being able to connect with themselves. Half the time, they don't like those things. They don't want to be there. And I think we are robbing our children as parents. We're robbing them from that first step of allowing them to just sometimes sit with themselves. Yeah. We overstimulate our kids. And now every child has a cell phone and an iPad and everything.
Yes.
Creativity is at its all-time low.
Yes.
Children can't read. There's so many things.
They can't sit and be bored.
Yeah, they can't be bored.
They can't be bored. I used to be bored all the time back in the day when we would go on our road trips up north, like 4.5 hours. I used to just stare outside like, bored.
Let's run up the street again. Don't know where we're running to, but I'll run backwards and see what happens.
But there's that's what's happening. It's like the stimulus of iPads and the games and stuff are stealing creativity. Yes. And creativity is our divine nature.
100%. It only can come from within. But if you're hyper stimulated mentally and physically, you never have time to check in to connect with that. And I just want to implore people, if you feel like you wake up and you say things like, I feel like my fire for life is gone, that means you're disconnected a lot from yourself.
Yes.
You're very disconnected. And you're right. The fire is literally gone. What you're feeling is a true feeling, but it's because you're disconnected and you have to take time to reconnect. It's not going to just magically reappear. It will not.
Look, I was there, man. I was like burnt the F out from working like so many freaking hours a day, every single day, and I was like telling myself these fake stories in my head and I had to do this, I gotta do this. And it was like all these fake stories. And then I just ended up burning myself out.
Well, for you, I think in particular, what I found interesting, if I might say, is watching you work like that, hours on end, every single day, to pour into other people. Right? Because your mission is so good. Like how I am about health and fitness, you are in yours. And I'm watching and I'm like, wow, but when is she going to do for her? Like, when is it going to happen? Like, when, like, when? And I was like, she is like the Energizer Bunny, but when? Like, because I never would see you refill you.
Yeah.
Right?
Never.
You were just
Never.
like, I got to do the people. They're calling the this, da, 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 da. And I know your mission is great and what you're doing is right. But again, if you crumble, then no one gets anything, not you and not anyone else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the truth.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
the
you know what? I did it to myself, because so many people, you would even tell me, you know, like, what about your stuff and
Yeah.
I, for some reason, it was like, I would just always count myself second, you know, and I would, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
I'm too busy.
I'll get your thing was, I'm gonna get to it. I'm like,
Yes,
all.
That's what I would say, because I was so busy because of the story I was telling in my head, the false narrative, because you always have freaking free will. You always have free will. So at any time and point, I could have made a different decision at a different time. And I ended up burning myself out. It messed my hormones up. I was all jacked up, because when you get burnout, it's not only mental, it's physical.
No, it's physical.
Body. And then your hormones will reflect that. And then your hormones will reflect the fact that you're burnt out and start giving you the burnout stuff. And then you just really are flatlined.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And women in particular hurt more in this realm from burnout, right? Our bodies are so much more fickle than men's. And we break down so much more.
Yes. Well, 80% of autoimmune disease is women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this and stress is the crux of all of it. It really is. And so, definitely just trying to again, like we said in the beginning, chart your path, right? Mm-hmm. Chart your path, get on a firm landing. And, I know we all want to be in these relationships, but I often think about the Bible and how it is set up, and it says, how about, you should not live with the person till you get married. And all of us now are like, what? Like, like that sounds crazy. And because the way society is now, it does sound like, that sounds like psychotic. But then when I really take a moment and think about it, I said, well, wait a minute. That process was written for a purpose. Mm-hmm. What if we are meant to be so in our divine strength and power on our own? That person, when we meet, if the person's right, it's going to work because it's supposed to work.
Yes, always.
So we are already pushing against the process.
Yes.
And then wondering why it's in disaster.
Yes, yes. And you know what? I was having these conversations too. I was interviewing Mike Rashid not too long ago. And we were talking about sex before marriage. And honestly, I almost feel like people should wait. You should wait, because once you intertwine your energies like that, then you get the rose-colored glasses, and then the intuition goes away, and then the red flag is not a red flag; it's a pink flag. It's okay,
100%. And don't do like me and my ex-husband, where we started off doing it and then we took a break. It was like, let's wait till we get married. It's too late. I already tasted the pudding. I already know what it was. I was like, this is great. It's white chocolate. I love it. Let's go. And so my rose-colored glasses were still on, right?
Yeah, because you're energetically intertwined.
Absolutely.
You can't take that back.
No, I mean, I do. The older that I am now, I do believe we should really wait. And it's funny because now I feel like I'm the older person telling younger people, wait till have sex, right? Like, but there's wisdom there. And I get it now, right? There is true wisdom there in really waiting before you make a soul connection like that, because that's where the real deep inner hurt comes from when it all goes away, right?
Yes.
That's what breaks you, because you're trying to, there's a connection there that's no longer physically there. That inner connection is still holding you.
Yeah.
Like you almost like, I can't go on without this person or thing that
energetically you're tied together. That's why I always talk about cord cutting rituals, because it's so important, because you literally, your energies are intertwined. You can feel each other.
You feel each other. Yeah.
I can still feel some of, like I can still feel things.
100%, 100%, 100%. That, I mean, you learn that person so well at every level. There were a couple years I was like, I haven't even seen him. And I'm like, I know he's probably doing XYZ because I felt it.
You can feel it because you're energetically tied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and so it is. It's a process where we just really need to focus on getting ourselves in whole. Yes, that's the word. Making yourself whole. Because why are we presenting ourselves to another person halfway anyway?
Exactly. With all these masks on, because we don't even know ourselves. How can we be real with another when we can't even be real with ourselves?
Right. How many are getting in relationships where they really realize, I don't like that person at all. I thought I did, but I don't like them. I would imagine that's happening. Every day. You're like, shoot, we bought this house together. My name's on the deed.
And then you're all tied in. You're tied in emotionally. You're tied in physically. You're tied in spiritually. And at that point, then that's when you lose your years because you're like, oh, well, it'd just be too hard to go the other way.
You start saying, I think I can make it work. As you're also ever evolving, because we are constantly evolving as human beings. We are never the same person, so then you have all of that still going on. It's never going to be a thing until you take time to focus on yourself and make yourself whole. There's nothing you can present to another person. There really isn't. There just really isn't.
Or there is everything you present to another person.
Right, exactly. Here go my baggage now. Dig in there and give me that red Tupperware. I think there's something in there from 1985. They're like, ooh, that doesn't look so good. It'll be all right.
Girl, it's like
and now the last 3 years of my life to just really breathe and be. I mean, literally just be. There's lots of days where I don't even go or do anything besides my usual gym. I'll go out, in the back. I have the beach in the backyard. I go out there and I sit and I just sit. I am so content and happy with me. And I can hear my thoughts now and I can be creative. And I think so much more clearly now. And it's crazy. Like before it was always kind of like this constant cloud of everything going on.
Everybody else.
Yes.
Because you're living in other people's lives because it's, you got to go to work. You got to go do this. You got to go do that. And none of it is for you. Right. So it's literally of the entire world and everybody else that's in your head that's clouding you.
Absolutely.
So you know what? Divorce is one of the most beautiful things I think people can go through, to be honest, because it forces you to get to know you. It forces you, unless you're one of those people that just hop to another, which
right. Well, we know a couple of those.
That just go, which is so toxic because that it just shows
the
you
sign
really
that
hate yourself. You hate yourself.
Absolutely. If you are a person that has gone through a divorce, and again, not judging you if you've moved on quickly, but if you have gone through a divorce, you need to sit in that stew for a bit. It's happened and you played a role in it, whether you were all the way right or all the way wrong, whatever. There's always two parties, period, point blank. I don't care what people say. Two people play the role. Sit in that stew for a minute.
I've been telling people it's one of the most beautiful things to go through the dark night because it transforms you. Because guess what? It forces you to get to know you. And you can't do that if you're hopping from one person to another person. And it shows that you really don't like yourself because you can't sit in it. You can't process it.
You can't process things. It will expose all of the things about you that you knew, but you didn't want to face.
Exactly.
Right? And you should sit with that, because if you want real growth, there's sometimes when people look, not to toot my own horn, but I've had people come and it's like, man, you're always glowing. You always seem so happy. And I think it's because I have an inner happiness and inner peace that I feel now really radiates off of me. Like I am me. I don't try to be anything.
You're not anybody else. Right.
Right. This is it. This is what you get. This is how I am, and I am so happy to be in that space, because before I don't even know who I was before. I mean, I thought I did, but I wasn't who I am right now, for sure.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm saying. Divorce has forced me to get to know who the F I am, because I didn't even know what I liked after everything happened. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I want to do right now?
Right. Because you've done so much of the other person's thing.
Yes. And it just became your norm because
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was.
Right.
And so finally, it forces you. It literally forces you if you allow it. If you allow it.
Yes, if you allow
if you
it.
surrender into the pain, the dark night, the feeling, the accountability, you know, the everything about everything. Because you know, man, it's just I'm at a whole new place. And that inner glow, you know, the inner happiness. I mean, I might not be at like the super happy part yet, but there is a different
it's a different
glow about me.
Absolutely. It's a different move. You feel it when you wake up in the morning, you take your steps. And you know, anyone who's going through this process, I don't want them to think that we're saying that there's no pain associated. That's part of the process. There's definitely pain, you know.
There's like serious pain going
one
through.
day, and the pain I think for everyone is very different, you know, like I think I've told you before, like I didn't have any shed tears over getting a divorce. But I had already prepared myself for years prior that this was going to accumulate into a divorce eventually. So I had a slightly different path leading into it, but there still was the I failed, you know, part of it. Or
the forgiving of yourself.
Exactly. The forgiving of yourself, which I think is extremely, extremely important, to forgive yourself for whatever those things are, you know, that you're dealing with, but to say, give yourself some grace and to say, you know what, I maybe didn't handle this and this and this correctly, but I'm going to forgive myself and I'm going to take stock and I'm going to do better and do it correctly if I'm granted a next time.
Yes.
Right? And that's
how you ever get to even those steps if you're just distracting yourself all the time with
another person
or another person.
Right.
I'm sorry, that is just, it's disgusting.
It's not growth. And so when a lot of us, you know, who are single are saying, well, I'm looking for someone who's, you know, grown and they're ready, you better be careful and make sure that they really have. Start asking them the tough questions. How long have you been single? If it has not been at least a year, I wouldn't even entertain it, because that year it's a tumultuous year where you're going through all of the pain and the crying and the hurt and the anger and, you know, the shock. And if it left you financially destitute, then you're going through the stress of trying to get back to that. You're nowhere near ready to present anything. You're just trying to find flat ground.
Distraction.
So don't even go into anything. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. Sex is really not that important. I know we all think that it is, but even look in the Bible, anything we read, movies, anything, sex brings issues, drama every time. Every time. It's not, I'm not seeing it show up with roses the next day. It always dragging some drama with it every single time. I am like, you've got to be kidding me. Right. So take your time, because it's bigger than just the 5 minute, you know, of, ooh, that felt great. This is supposed to be relationships that you want for a lifetime. If that's what you're looking for, it needs to have a proper foundation. We are going into relationships with no foundation, trying to build walls with no floor and a roof that got a hole in it.
Everything is shaky. When you don't know who you are, you're building a foundation on top of sticks, twigs.
Absolutely.
Twigs. And it's just bound to freaking drop and fail. Bound.
Yeah. A gust of wind's going to come and it's going to knock it over every time.
Exactly. And I always talk about this too. So things, right? It's very easy to be good when things are good. You know, It's very, very easy when everything is perfect and easy. It's very easy for someone to be a good person. But can you be a good person when things get windy?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where you really find out the character of an individual for yourself, though, right? Where you thought you were ride or die, and you're like, I am just ride, not die.
Well, see, that's why I would tell people too, before they even get married or really tie into somebody, go through some real bad stuff together first. Yeah. Because then you're really gonna get to know the character of the other person.
Absolutely.
Because you know, like
absolutely.
You just don't know.
You don't know. And then still, the truth is, at the end of the day, you can get, after you've gotten into something, you still truly don't know. That's why you need to have one thing that you do know is you. You will never really ever know the other person because they too are also evolving, right?
Yes.
If you know yourself, you can make the best decisions in a situation when you know yourself.
Right.
And that's the missing piece here. We are making decisions without really knowing at our true core what we should do, what would we like, how would we feel if we did X. We try to make decisions based off of everyone else's emotions. We don't even consult our emotion first. We're like, well, if I do this, they're going to feel that. What the hell are you going to feel? What about you? Right? Like, I'm like, how do we skate over ourselves and be like, oh, if I do that, they're going to be X, Y, Z. No, if I do that
every time.
Yeah, every time we skate. So we need to make sure at our core we are good, we are whole. And I really think, like in any biblical teaching, that is the point, to be a whole person.
Mind, body,
spirit. Right.
Mind, body, soul, and finances.
Yes. And finance, because nowadays, I mean, back in the day it was a goat, but nowadays you need more than a goat. You need some real coins.
Girl, yes. Mind, body, soul.
It is.
You have to be.
And again, that person who you're in a relationship might not leave. They might just die, because that happens too. And then what do you do if you have not set any of yourself up to be strong enough to just forge on your own, let alone if you had children together?
Yes.
And this is how you get into women and men into deep depressions. They have, don't know what to do from one day to the next. It just creates a whole, now you're continuing more trauma on, not just in yourself, but in your children. And it's one big ball of wax.
Exactly. So the real thing here is you should get to know who you are, which means listening to your intuition, get back into your body, get back connected to yourself so you can hear intuition. So you're connected to God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
You have that root in you.
Absolutely.
So you're able to, build from that rooted place instead of building from a place where, the end of the onion, when it's like, who is even that person? Because that person is going to continue to change and continue to change and continue. At least when you're rooted in yourself, it's like, you know at the core who you are, what's your characteristic, what you like, what you don't like, you know that.
You'll know, right? Yes, I make no compromises now. I'm just like, don't like that. Talked to a guy the other day. He was like, yeah, I gamble and smoke weed. And I was like, well, I guess you need to call somebody else. My name is not Shaquita. And I just kept it moving. I just hung the phone like it didn't even happen. I just next.
Crazy.
I didn't even like blink twice. It's when I hung up that I was like, dang, Maria, you couldn't have said that a bit more tactful. And then I said to myself, actually, no, because that was tactful. That was what I felt. It's what I felt. It's my boundaries. And I said it. And
hilarious.
It was not going to work anyway. So I'm telling him up front, no. Call Shaquita. She will help you out. I am not her. I just picked a name. I don't even know why. I'm always clowning. So I just said it. And I didn't even wait for a response. Phone. I said, have a good day. Click. Done.
Dude.
I mean, why not? I know who I am. I know that lifestyle is not for me. So I'm not even going to use his most valuable asset, his time, trying to make him, but oh, baby, please, or whatever he was going to come up with. I don't know. I'm not even going to waste it. Not for me. Call someone else. Bye.
Yes. Well, you know what? It's like, I've even seen your growth, because, there was a point there where we lost touch.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm so grateful, like, that you answered the phone to me. I was like, oh, she answered.
She could answer. I don't know.
Help me.
So I will say this, because I think it's something that needs to be said. we are all going to go through trials and tribulations in life.
Yes, yes.
And you're going to find out when you go through the mud who's really in your corner.
Yeah.
You will
Yes.
find out.
Yes, you will.
For me, I know when we first met, when we were first rapping, when we first connected,
Mhm.
and we were, vibe. I was like, oh yeah, this is my girl right here. And I
Mhm.
told you, I said, you're always going to be my girl, no matter what.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
And so when your name pops up on my phone, it's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
Because integrity, right? If I say this is what I'm doing, then this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
And so, but you find out really who's in your corner. And it's sad when you find out it's not the people you thought it was going to be. You're like, you gotta be kidding me, my girl.
That's why it's divorce is something different, man, because it's like the people that you think are going to be right there by your side are the ones that like usually just bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
They don't even give you the bye. They don't respond.
And you know what I heard? You know what I heard? Ooh, this was good. If somebody doesn't ask you your side of the story, then they wanted to believe what they heard anyways.
Right.
They wanted to believe it.
Absolutely. I always like to say that they were looking for your demise regardless.
Haha.
Right? Right? They were looking for your demise regardless. And I think that's the saddest part of it all, that they were never really rooting for you. They were only clinging on for what they could get, right? Clout chasing, like people call it.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Because, the people that they were all the people from my city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My city people were the ones that were peace out, bye.
Right. Which was very shocking because they were rocking before anything. They were on your team before any of the relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's the shocking piece.
Crazy. It's crazy to go through something like this and realize who people really are. But you know what? That's why I thank God so much, because I was ready to put these people back on my back like I already had for all of these years.
Carrying them some more.
And carry them some more, lugging around the dead freaking weight to the next level of where I'm at. And God was like, nope, bye.
He will put you in some very uncomfortable situations to break you loose of what you were supposed to be breaking loose from. Yeah. But you chose not to. But they're good. They're okay. Again, because you don't know yourself. They had their own red flags too. We just skated over it.
Yes.
And you're like, no. Okay, I'm gonna leave this, but I'm gonna bring my people, help them so they can stay on too, because I don't want them to go hungry. Somebody's getting ready to have a family. I don't want this to, again, caring for everyone else before yourself.
Yes, exactly.
And then they show you their real colors, and you're like, wow, they weren't even on my team like I thought anyway.
Nope, not even a little bit.
Yeah, not even a little bit. It was all a facade that people will actually play for years. For years.
Tell me about it.
But
you know what? It was the most beautiful thing, honestly. The most beautiful thing for me, because I got to see people's true colors. Finally. Because you know me, I'm a woman of my word, just like how you are a woman of your word. If I tell you something, I'm always going to follow through as much as I can, even if I lose everything and I have to give you my last. I am that type of person. I will do it.
Right.
So it was like universe, God, source was like, no more, and showed me in the most painful freaking way,
Well, that's our punishment for making the free will decisions.
Yeah.
It comes with a consequence. And that's the thing that we need to take stock in. These choices will come back to us in forms of consequences. And then we want to say, oh, I can't believe why God me. Why? No, you did that to yourself.
I did it. I did it to myself.
Through it. Yeah.
I put myself through everything that I have went through. I don't blame anybody.
Right.
I don't blame anybody. I don't blame them. I don't blame the situation. I blame my blindness. I blame the fact that I looked away from the red flags. I blame, it's all me. I created this.
We created it. Exactly. We did. Absolutely. And when you can finally that's where the healing comes from, when you're like,
Mhm.
when you can recognize the role you played.
Yes.
You know, like I tapped the first domino.
Yeah.
I did that.
Mhm.
Okay. And so anything that happens thereof, yeah, they have their own faults along the way, but the dominoes falling, I started that. That was
Yeah.
on me. And I
Yes,
need
because
to
we
own
have
that.
free will and
Yeah.
choices, and either you do this or you do that. That's all our life is. This or that, this or that, this or that.
That's right.
That's it.
Exactly. That's it.
It's one choice away to make a different decision to create a
Yes.
different life.
Absolutely. And people will say, well, how do you know which one to take? That's why you need to sit down and be still. Get to
Yes.
know your center and figure it will come to you. It
Mhm.
really, really will. Randomly, am I sitting here like, oh God, I don't know what to do. I say, when I have a choice to make, I say, you know what, Maria, you need to stop with the social media, stop scrolling, you need to sit with yourself. It might not be a day, might be 2, might be a week. You want the answer, then you need to sit and you need to listen. So you
Yes.
can hear and think and feel
Yes.
and figure it
You know
out. And
what's crazy? I was figuring out like some of my patterns was I was on the phone all day, sometimes
Right.
going through this. And I'm like, I shouldn't be on the phone all day because that is just distracting me from me. I need to sit with me because I feel,
Yep.
I've noticed like whenever my feelings would get very tough through it, I would just be on the phone all
Yes.
day. And I'm like, no, I said no more. 3 days ago, I was like, no more. I'm just going to sit. 4 days ago, actually now.
Yep.
4 days
Just
ago,
sit.
I'm like, I'm sitting with this.
Yeah, sit. Yeah, it's going to keep coming back if I don't deal with it,
Exactly.
And so I
Exactly.
need to sit and deal and figure out, okay, first of all, what can I change?
Mhm.
I'll figure out what I can change, and anything else I cannot longer change, I need to make peace with it because it's not changing. It's gone. That time frame is gone. It's done.
Yes. Yes.
Nope. And then also putting a different perspective on things, like how you said divorce is a beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
as you say that, I also say this: the ability to know that you have loved someone fully with
Yes.
every fiber of you is also a beautiful thing.
Yes, it
And
is.
if you never get it again, okay, we all would want to, but at least you've had the opportunity, because there will be people who leave this planet who have never experienced that or had
Yes.
the opportunity to even give it.
And I was talking about this on my live yesterday. It's like, don't harden your heart because you go through pain, because that's what's the
Right.
easiest thing to
Absolutely.
do. It's the
Right.
easiest thing to
It's the
harden your
easiest thing
heart going through
never.
pain.
Right.
But then you have to stay in alignment with who you are. And I realize so deeply now, my base core is love and peace.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. And that's what I express and expose. And I won't go the other route. I'm not going to get bitter and
No.
revenge and get angry.
No, that only
No.
makes you sick and ruins your emotional set. That's
Yes.
it. It doesn't do anything to the other person. It
No,
really does not. It does
it
not.
does not. It does
No.
not. So you know what? I'm grateful. I write about it every morning. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my experiences. I'm grateful for, what God has showed me in the past
Absolutely.
couple months.
Right.
I'm grateful for the magic that enters my life because I'm finally serving myself after
Right.
all these years.
I know. And it is a really good feeling to serve yourself, right?
Yeah,
And I feel like that's what we miss in relationship. We don't serve ourselves first so that we can pour into others. We're just not doing it.
No, that's where I was at. That's why I got burnt out. That's why I was so resentful and woke up with an attitude every damn day because I was not pouring into myself. I hated everything.
Look
And
at the person mad.
In your head, you keep telling yourself, "Oh, well, they're not grateful. I'm doing all this stuff, and where's that gratitude? Oh, that's a story, baby. Like, because people are concerned with them and them only. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Most people are concerned with themselves only, and it's always going to be self-preservation. There are very few people who are willing to go down in the ship with you. Very few.
Right.
And so they're like, wow, that person's doing all the work. I'm gonna let them keep doing it because they're bought into the story that they have to do it. So I'm just gonna let them do it. And that's what they do. They step back and let you be the workhorse and be the workhorse. And then you're like, I don't believe they don't appreciate me. Well, of course not. You're doing it to yourself.
Exactly.
They just allowed you to.
Yourself.
Yes. They just allowed you to do it.
Sure. Exactly.
They allowed you. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. They didn't stop you from doing everything because why would they?
Right, exactly. It would 100%. And even like with moms and dads that are raising their kids together, and the moms are feeling like the dads just are not doing their job with the kids. Whatever the crazy extra things that you do with the kids, stop doing it. Don't tell
Exactly.
you to do it. Just see what happens.
Another story.
Yeah,
Another story.
another story. Yeah. Don't drop the kids to basketball. Guess what? If they're 10, it's not NBA status. We're not really that concerned right now.
Yes.
I can't take you to basketball. Mom needs to rest. Period, point blank. You want to
Yes.
shoot hoops, go outside. Or ask your dad to take you to basketball. If he doesn't want to take you, then your ass is in the house. Sorry, too bad. So sad. End of story.
Exactly. Exactly.
End of
Start
story.
taking care of you and stop telling yourself these crazy stories that aren't even real.
Real. They are not
Not real.
real. There was, I think back to every time I would travel from Germany here to work, and I would stay for a month or 2 months. I would make and prepare 8 to 9 weeks worth of cooked food, dry freeze it, label it for my husband, the younger 2 kids, iron the uniforms, make sure all the laundry was all washed, all of that done, prepared, set up so I can be gone, just so my ex did not have to lift a finger to
Oh
even
my
feed the kids.
Did
How
you have that
crazy.
story in your head too? And then like you got
I did.
resentful?
Yeah, because I'm like, I can't believe I
So many of
did
us
all
do
of that. He didn't even care. I
So
did
many
it
of
to
us do
myself.
this.
He
Yeah.
never asked me to, hey, babe, will you make all this food while you're gone so we don't have to cook? He never once did that.
Exactly.
And I left 2 children in a home that perfectly know how to cook.
See, it's the story. We overdo it. We overdo it as the caregivers of the family. We
Yes.
overdo it because of the
Absolutely.
stories we tell ourselves, and then
Yes.
we get resentful, and then we get sick, and then we just get discarded.
100%. Well, you know what? Even in separation, this blows my mind. Now, I think I still did the right thing, but still, I think I did too much. We were having a brawl that whole week, and we're separating, whatever. And my ex gets COVID, and
Oh
he
yeah,
gets COVID
yes.
really, really bad.
Uh-huh.
And so we have in Germany a really large home. And so at that time he was on the west, and I was staying on the east wing of the house. And so he's got to stay over there. He's quarantining, and what do I know? Mind you, we just came off of brawling. We're separated.
Uh-huh.
It's COVID, and what do? I spring into wifey action, and I'm cooking all the meals and making sure early in the morning I'm delivering it to his door, making sure he's okay. All day long, COVID watch, cooking food, making sure he's not in there dying. For 2 straight weeks, I didn't even blink. And even to the point where one day he was like, "Why are you doing this for me?" And I said, "Because I'm your wife until I'm not." Right? Which I firmly believe. I'm your wife until I'm not your wife.
Well, see, you got good integrity. That's that's a good, honestly,
Right.
if I was still, I would probably jump into the same
It's
thing.
your loved one.
But would they do that for you though?
No, because let me tell you, as soon as this Negro popped a negative COVID test, he was like full blast crazy. Like, I didn't just take
Did you expect him to change or be different though?
I expected him to not be crazy. We were still going to split, but I was not looking. It didn't change anything.
Because of course it wouldn't. Because why would it? Because they are allowing you to be you, and it's your choice. They're not like, stop taking care of me.
Right. And so I had to say, that's not his fault. That was my fault. I chose to wake myself up every morning and make the fresh coffee and the full breakfast and put the medicine on there and take it to the room and then collect the dishes and wash the dishes. And you name it, I was doing it. I could not. And at first I was mad at him. But then one day, this was after we'd now divorced and everything. I'm like, no, you idiot. That's on you. Stop blaming that man for that. You chose to do that shit. You can be like, oh, you got the Rona. Good luck. And they kept it moving.
Yes, dude. It's all us. It's all us. We have to make different decisions to protect ourselves, to have better boundaries. So we are able to, literally, because this is the problem. It's those type of people, us, like what we do,
Yes.
that enables the toxic.
Yes, we're the enablers, right? We
Enable it.
Yeah, we play a good role to a fault.
Yes.
We overstep the role.
Exactly. It's because we don't know who we are.
Yes. Yes.
And once we know who we are, like, would you ever make that choice again?
No.
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
When I analyze it now, I'm like, that was wild.
Yeah.
This man 2 days before the Rona breakout told me F you and the this and that and the other. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he gets the Rona and I'm like, I got you, babe. What?
See what I'm saying though? It's like you would make a different decision now. See, now I will not ever pour my magic into anybody else but me. From now freaking on, it's never gonna happen. I'm never building. I'm the kingmaker. No, I'm not the kingmaker.
No, I'm this queen's maker.
Exactly.
And you can make yourself into a king, and I will stand next to you on the platform, but we will make ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's where people have to get to. That's
because we should honestly never want anyone to make us anyway.
Exactly.
Right? Like no one is supposed to try to make you happy. You're supposed to learn.
No, you're supposed to make yourself happy. Yeah. It is not anybody else's responsibility to make you happy. And if you're giving somebody that responsibility, that's unfair and wrong and bad.
Bad. Yes. And when I look at true power couples, like I've really been trying to figure out who are true power couples. I've noticed a dynamic of the man who has made himself, the woman has made herself. And there's times where they come together and walk side by side, but often they're always doing their own separate thing. They have their own paths that meet every so often. But when you see the ones that are constantly clumped together, that woman is usually driving the entire thing. And the man is, and sorry guys, this is just the way society works. It's rarely an opposite, but typically it's the woman who's done all of the building up, and the man is in the limelight. And some dynamics, that's okay. However, it's to the detriment of the woman. She's not getting any of the respect, the gratitude, the caring, the anything. And then again, she has nothing. Her whole life has become this other person. Yeah. And if you are a woman who wants to do that, or a man who wants to do that, that's fine. That's your choice. Just know that God forbid it ends up in calamity. Own up to the role you've played in your own demise.
Absolutely. And with that, mic freaking drop. Mic drop. No, seriously, I love you, Maria. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Here with me today.
Absolutely.
We'll do this more often. I mean, so many people, they love our info, and we know a lot more than just
That's right. Than just this.
We just went there today, guys. We went there. But it's important. It's important. People need to pour into themselves, get to know themselves, and stop entering these relationships without knowing who you are, because then you just get toxic bonded and screwed over, really, or screwed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, guys. Well, until next time, I'll have Maria back, guys, for sure. Next time we'll talk about peptides and some other stuff.
Yes, and hormones and all that good stuff.
Yes. We need to. We need
my other favorite topic.
Yes. Okay, guys. Until next time, peace.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and don't necessarily reflect those of the producers or affiliates. We do not guarantee the accuracy of the content. Please verify information and seek professional advice when needed. By listening, you agree not to hold us liable for any actions taken based on this content. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you enjoy the episodes ahead.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I invite you to stay on this journey with me. There is so much more ahead. Courses, mentoring, healing circles, retreats, safe spaces to heal and grow. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and stay connected. We are not alone. In this journey, we're on it together.